going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive.
I don't think anybody in my circle understands it.
Yo. Mic check, mic check. All right, y'all, we here. I made it back. I finally made it back. I wanted to do this video yesterday, but it's just been crazy. There's a lot been going on. I did not have the time. I'm really squeezing it in now because it's important and I need to do it. And I don't want to leave y'all hanging. I want you to know exactly what's been going on. But, you know, I've had some people pop up recently. Of course, we have our challenge, you know, a lot of stuff going on. I'm putting the final touches on several different items that need to be released before the end of the year. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. So I want to do the final update on the fast that I had scheduled for December so that you guys know exactly what happened, how everything turned out. If you read the title, you already know how much weight I lost. So we did 18 pounds on this fast, which is literally textbook. I always have pretty much textbook weight loss on my fast. I think most people do. Most people that report. The longer you fast, what I'm learning is the longer you fast, the more true the numbers become. Usually, if you fast for like less than, 4 days or something like that, the numbers can be a little exaggerated. Because when you fast for, your first couple of days, depending on where you are in your process, you might lose 4 pounds on your first day. That was really common. Shoot, 4 or 5 pounds on the first day. That was very, very common. I think my sister reported losing 4 or 5 pounds one day. Stephen, John, we've all seen those kind of numbers. With that being said, if you guys aren't familiar with what I've been doing as far as my fast, everything started December 1st. If you're not familiar with what I've been doing, I want to encourage you guys to go back, watch those lives. Okay, I've put out 5 or 6 lives since then. And I want you guys to just kind of get yourself caught up to speed. But basically, my goal was to do a 7-day prep starting December 1st. Roll into the fast, do a 10-day water fast, and then break the fast, pretty much. All right, now, just so you guys we're on the same page, I did 8 days, okay? I did 8 days. I started off with 2 days of dry that you guys didn't want to give me credit for. But I ended up doing 8 days of the 10-day fast. But because of the dry days, I still lost. I basically lost. My weight loss was on par. Now I want to talk about why I didn't complete the full 10 days, why I stopped 2 days early. And hopefully this resonates with somebody out there, because when I do my one-on-one consultations with people, I do my best to really play into like their personal lifestyle, what they have going on, and make sure that the advice I'm giving makes sense for them. So, although it's hard sometimes, I do my best to take my own advice. Of course, I've got my team around me, pretty much giving me the same advice. So we had I don't know, we probably have like 4 medium-sized projects that need to kind of complete. We've got a lot of packages we're shipping for the challenge, which I pretty much do all of that. And we've got some materials that need to be completed, which Shell usually helps me out a lot with that. some stuff Steve and I put together. We have some videos we need to shoot. And so what's been happening is ultimately what I'm gonna say, what happened was my the fast was becoming such a distraction. It was so challenging for me to work. And I was getting so far behind. I was missing meetings because so what was happening. I'm gonna tell y'all what was unique on this fast because I've talked about this in some of the other videos, but I was not able to sleep like at all. Well, I could no, that's not correct. I could sleep, but I couldn't sleep during times so that I could be um, available during the time when I had my meetings and stuff. So I would be up literally, until the sun came up. I could not go to sleep. Now, I've experienced this before, but not to this extent. Typically, when I fast, usually what'll happen is I'll go to sleep early. It'll usually make me sleepy. I'll go to sleep, let's say 8 o'clock, and then I'll sleep for like 2 hours. This really, really screws me up. So now I'm up at 10 p.m. I got 2 hours of sleep and I'm kind of recharged. But then usually later on in the morning, let's say around 3 a.m. or something like that, I can usually get back to sleep. This time it was a wrap. Like it'd be getting to be 7 a.m. I'm still awake. Now that was cool when I very first started doing it because I used that time to get work done, like it was cool, but then it started becoming a major distraction. So that was one thing. And hate, I hate missing meetings. I hate when I have a commitment to do something and I just miss it. And you know how it is when you pass out, your sleep, it's a wrap. Like the phone's not waking you up. You're not gonna like it was throwing me completely off. And then also I mentioned to you all that I had a pang in my stomach that just wouldn't go away. It went away at moments in time. I told y'all like I had a nice bowel movement and it settled down. I did a tapping technique and it actually helped me a little bit, but I might get relief for a few hours, maybe at max half a day, and then it will come back. And that was very, very, very difficult to deal with. I usually do deal with that, but not to that extreme. That was very extreme. Now, the crazy thing about it was nothing else was that extreme. I wasn't dizzy. I didn't have too like crazy excessive, low energy. Um, Everything else was pretty good. I was actually very surprised. It was a very different experience. It was very different. One thing that I will say, as I got towards the end of my fast, I noticed like an alcohol taste in my mouth, and I had been drinking wine this year. I had wine. I was having wine way more than I normally do, and but wine. Yeah, wine is what I was drinking. This tastes like. This reminded me of like liquor, but obviously there's alcohol in wine. And I noticed that there was like an alcohol kind of taste coming. And I think that was the body detoxing that stuff out. So what I started to think, what I started to realize was typically when I would do my fasts, first of all, I'd never gone out of my way to try to gain weight to so that I could do a fast, like, you know what I mean? So this was a different experience. Um, Typically I just eat, I eat well and I manage my weight and I do things on a regular basis. But I think because of how I approach this fast, it made it more challenging in unique ways. So this will be probably the last time I ever do anything like this again. It's not worth it. It was a good experience. I think I learned a lot. I think that for me, it was good because I'm able to see where other people are coming from, and that was something that was important for me. I wanted to kind of do my best to put myself in y'all's shoes, and because even from day one when I very first started fasting, I didn't know what I was doing. To some degree, I was doing some type of prep. It just happened to be that way. I started off doing a month of vegetarian before I ever even touched fasting, and it wasn't on purpose. It just so happened to work out that way. So Um, I think that it's important to understand if you're coming from a lifestyle where you've never really practiced consistent healthy eating or fasting or anything of that nature, what you want to do is, and this is regular advice that I do give, but what you want to do is approach things with the mindset of starts with baby steps. 3 days is still reasonable to start, like a 3-day fast. It's still pretty reasonable to start. You can usually push through 3 days. The first day, you might be, hungry and whatever. It might be uncomfortable, but you're not going to have any crazy detox symptoms typically. Okay. Usually most people can just kind of push through the first day. Day two, you might start experiencing some of that stuff. And then day three, if you really, really need to, you can just sleep as much as you can to kind of get through it. But for the most part, people can push through a 3-day fast. With that being said, um, it may be better to approach it with like shorter bursts of fast. 3 days here. If you can push for 4 or 5, cool. But if you can't, don't push yourself too hard. And that's the advice that I would typically give somebody. So um, I think that's a good approach. And then what'll happen is as you clean your body up a little bit, then you'll be able to do the longer fasts. Not won't be such a big of a deal. So that's what happened. Um, so I said, "Oh Lord, did you feel drunk?" No, I didn't feel drunk. Actually, the fast, like I said, it was so eat like as far as detox symptoms, dizziness, low blood pressure, uh, I did have some detox tongue because, like I mentioned to you guys in the like maybe the first live I did, I was doing the dry, so I wasn't taking my clean slate. When I started taking a clean slate, that helped a lot with the detox tongue. But I did experience detox tongue pretty early. I think that was because of the dry fasting. Um, Steven is really good at that with tracking this detox tongue because he hates it so much. But I will say that the detox tongue, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it is brutal. It really does impact your overall experience. Like detox tongue is crazy. But yeah, so I did experience the detox tongue. I had the hunger pang, which I don't, it wasn't even really a hunger pang. It was just like a discomfort in my stomach. It's hard to explain it. And someone had mentioned in one of my comments on one of the other lives, maybe there's something that your body is working on. And I would say that would be the obvious answer, actually. You know, you don't experience uh, intense or even mild, consistent pain or pangs like that, and your body isn't doing something very specific. And like I said before in one of my other lives, my body is not perfect. I'm just like y'all. We're not superheroes or anything. So there's things that my body is definitely working on. Um, it's interesting how I lost the weight though, because my pants fit. My pants fit. I mean, obviously my pants fit different, but not as much. I think more weight, and I could be wrong, but I think more weight came off of my upper body than my lower body. I do usually lose weight, maybe like more, uh, like it's like throughout my body from top to bottom. I'll usually lose it evenly, but yeah, it was a really, really good experience. Okay, so as Grace said, what meal did I break it with? Apples. Apples, y'all. Mhm. I did. I had a bag of apples. I didn't eat all of them, obviously. I think I broke it with two. I think I broke it with two. So, I had a lot of water. I had 2 apples. I skinned them. I don't know if that matters to y'all or not. I skinned them, and then I think I had maybe 2 more apples later on, maybe 2 or 3 more apples later on, because that was all the fruit that I had. So I just ate apples. So the first day, and so like when okay, so the first day that I broke it, I just simply had apples. On the second day, I pretty much had apples, and then I had a salad. Yeah, I had apples and I had a salad, and then by uh, And then also I think later that night I had some fries. I had some fries. I don't recommend doing fries, but I had some fries. Let's see. I did do a lot of water. Someone said, "What's the detox tongue?" So the detox tongue is some people call it keto tongue. So I'll say that as well because that way maybe some people will know what that is from that. But basically, your tongue is a detox point. Okay, so you're under your arms, pretty much throughout your lymph system. You have nodes; those are all detox points. Your feet, and this is where large amounts of debris, bacteria, contaminants, it'll kind of come out in a more of a like a concentrated amount. It comes out. It comes out, throughout your body, but the tongue, for whatever reason, tends to uh, I don't know. The tongue just tends to be one of those areas. So there's a couple different ways that you can kind of deal with the detox tongue. Obviously, we've mentioned before that we find that if you're actively taking clean slate, we tend to not have issues with the detox tongue. Like I mentioned to y'all, I was doing dry fasting, so I wasn't actively taking it. It is what it is. Um, I do have one of these. I have a head. I've got a kind of big head. I'll be like, I'll push through it. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to do the dry. I was feeling it. Like I was feeling it so hard. um, but yeah, that's what it is, and that's why my experience was a little bumpy. But you can get a copper tongue scraper. That helps a lot because basically what it does is if you imagine, it basically makes a really nasty taste in your mouth. That's essentially what it does. That's what makes it so bad. It makes your mouth taste nasty. And not just that, it makes your water taste nasty, but it also cleanses your palate. So then you're more sensitive to things that you put in your mouth. So, for example, if you're drinking bottled water, you may start tasting material in the water that you never tasted before. And like it makes you more sensitive. It's a good thing. When you come off of your fast, you start eating, like, eating those apples was incredible. I listen, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. If you have never done a long-term fast, I think 3 days is enough to get it. But if you've done 4 days, 5 days, 10 days or more, when you go to take that first bite, and actually I would probably say like you might need to do like 7 days, you know what I mean, for this really to set in. You do like 7 day fast, and you go have an avocado, or you go have an apple, or some strawberries or something, a mango, whatever. It is divine eating after going without food for that long. It's absolutely divine. The amount of appreciation you have for food goes through the window. I think not enough emphasis is put on, you know, what that experience is like mentally, because you can use that. Like, we obviously encourage you guys to have journals, write these things down. You can use that experience as a way to prepare you forward later on when you're not fasting, and when you're going out there and you're looking at all these foods and your eyes are getting bigger than your stomach, and you could think about that experience of how much you kind of almost relish food or have a respect for food versus how it's just a thing you put in your mouth for taste. It's a completely different experience when you come off of a long fast and you eat. So I do think it's important for people to have that experience, actually. A lot of people have never had it, and nothing beats the first time. Nothing beat the first time I had that experience. It was spiritual. I'm not even gonna say almost. It was spiritual. But the longer you fast, the more intense it is. And then if you fast for a really long time, it becomes an even different experience, you know. So um, it's fasting is just it's such an amazing experience on so many different levels. Yeah, I'm glad I did it though. I'm very, very glad I did it. I'm gonna see if I can go through these questions. If you have a question you need me to answer, make sure to super chat. If you're on YouTube, super chat. If you're on Facebook watching and you need me to answer a question, maybe head over to YouTube and super chat it. I'm not going to be on here too long because I really got a lot of work to do. But I just wanted to get on and get you guys caught up to speed and answer some of your questions. So I'm going to go through. Uh, Ash just said, "Don't lose weight." All right, let me see what this is. Okay, what are dry days? Dry days are it's when you fast, but you're not eating or drinking. Okay, dry fasting is um, traditional fasting. So when you read holy books and you read ancient texts and they talk about fasting, dry fasting is what they're talking about. That's why when you hear fasting nowadays, there's always that prefix of water. It's a water fast, right? Because it's different from fasting. It's a water fast. So with the water fast, you're essentially fasting while supplementing with water. Dry fasting is fasting. It's traditional fasting. It is it's the most powerful fast. Well, arguably one of the most powerful fasts. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. See here. Hey guys, am I the only one that breaks out in a rash when they try fasting? Talk to my doctor. They don't seem to know anything about it. Well, it's important to when you are fasting and you're dealing with fasting. Okay, this is kind of like a general rule of thumb. It's very important to speak to fasting professionals, right? Like I try to get this to you guys. I try to get you to understand this point. I understand that society props doctors up as know-it-alls. You know what I mean? Like you go to if anything's going on with your body, whatever that might be, you go to a doctor. I understand that society has propped them up and that is their position. Um, but it's that's not like it's no different from if you have legal problems, you would not go to your mechanic and be like, look, I got this mistaken identity. They think I robbed this grocery store. What do you think I should do? Like you wouldn't take that problem to your mechanic. You would go to a lawyer, right? And even when you get into the field of lawyers, you still go to a specific kind of lawyer. You wouldn't go to an entertainment lawyer, right? It's the same thing with your health. We can't just simply go to doctors for everything. You guys want to start seeking out professionals that specialize in the areas and the fields that you're dealing with. So anytime that you're dealing with fasting, you really need to be dealing with a fasting professional. Is it cool to bring your doctor on board? Yes, right? Because the doctor, you might be on medication, right? Or you might have a particular, you might have had certain surgery or something like that, and you may need your doctor's input. So I'm not saying exclude that person per se, but we often will go to them like they have zero knowledge of fasting. When I very first started teaching about fasting, doctors at mass were very against fasting, which is weird because they'll tell you to fast before surgery. They'll tell you to fast, during certain times, but as a practice, outside of when they recommended is bad, which I always thought was weird. So as far as a rash goes, that's very common. I would encourage you. I have a video on YouTube. Okay, so go to a healthy alternative on YouTube or put it in the search bar, a healthy alternative, detox symptoms. Watch that video and it'll teach you. Also, if you want to take it a step further, you can go to our academy. All right, ahawellnessacademy.com. And you like I have an entire lesson talking about detox symptoms, how to mitigate detox symptoms, why you get them, what are detox symptoms, So if you really want to understand it, you want the fast track that information. I'm gonna put the link real quick in the chat. Go to the academy and check that information out. I've been teaching about this stuff for so long. It's always interesting because one of the reasons I put together a community like this is so that people, when they have questions like that, they don't feel alone. You know what I mean? Because that question makes me feel like that person feels like, they're is this, am I the only one that's experiencing this? No, you're not. It's actually really common, and it's not a big deal. But it's important to understand how the body functions, why it does what it does, et cetera, et cetera. So check that out, y'all. Check out the academy. I've priced it as affordable as possible to make things make sense. It's the information you get on the academy is life altering. Just ask anybody probably in the chat. Hit the like button for me, y'all, if you guys are enjoying the content. December has been crazy. We've been pumping out content like crazy this month. It's not slowing down. I have so much content that it's like I'm trying to figure out how I can fit it all in. I probably have a double header coming out tomorrow. I have two major interviews coming out tomorrow. Um, um, One with a member of our community. You already know how we do. Okay. And she's had some incredible results. I was actually talking to her this weekend. She wants to do a follow-up with me. So we might have a follow-up coming up maybe towards the end of January or whatever. She's been doing like these 100-day juice cleanses, and she's been losing crazy weight. The other one is with a young lady who was able to rectify multiple health issues: weight, bloating, menstrual cycle, acne, etc., with dietary change. And then she decided to make a documentary on it, and that's probably going to be coming out tomorrow as well. Okay, so not to mention, we probably have some surprise live streams coming up. Maybe tomorrow or maybe like Monday, Tuesday. So you guys stay locked in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some heat coming. Okay, I'm trying to get this stuff out before Christmas hits because I know y'all gonna be chilling with your family. But we got a lot coming on. Yes, the challenge, the R72 weight loss challenge, is starting January 1st. Okay, we are getting down to the nitty gritty of it. If you guys are interested in joining that challenge, head over to the website so that you can get locked in. I'm gonna grab the link for you. I'm gonna grab the link. Somebody got mad at me in the comment section on one of my lives last week, or this week, and said I wasn't dropping links. But all I do is drop links. The links, for those who are watching replay, the links are in the live chat. You have to open up the live chat and you'll see all the links. Love your contribution to this earth. Keep it up. You are very welcome. I love doing it. Trust me, I really do enjoy this. I really enjoy interacting with you all. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing your outcomes. And at the end of the day, the more I help you all, the more I help myself. It's not a one-way street. You know what I mean? As much as you get out of it, I get out of it. We're all winning. How many hours do you recommend fasting? How many hours? Well, I usually don't count it by the hours. So if we're talking about one day, because when we start talking about like hours, I'm usually looking at like one day. So if I was gonna say how many hours, I would say, for like intermittent fasting, you want to be doing probably, I would say at minimum 18 hours a day. Okay. That would be my recommendation. I know there's a lot of people that preach the 16-hour daily fast. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think it's good enough. Can you get benefit from doing that? Yes, for sure. However, it creates a large amount of strain on your dietary habits. And if your dietary habits aren't where they need to be, your results are not going to be that great. So I like 18 hours. If we're talking days, obviously we have the 72-hour challenge. So that's 3 days. I would recommend at least 3 days. So if you're doing if we're talking daily fasting, I would recommend at least 18 hours. Another important hour mark would be 48 hours. So let's say if you're into fitness, you're into athleticism, you're an athlete, or you compete on a high level athletically, or just maybe you just want that type of physique, I would probably tell you to be fasting for around 48 hours. All right. So hopefully we knocked out a couple different things there. I just bought a package. We talking about the challenge? Hopefully you talking about the challenge. Oh, just remember to hit the like button. There we go. My content's always fire, y'all. I don't put out that weak stuff. What is Clean Slate? Clean Slate is it's a product. It's a product from a company by the name of the Root Wellness brand. It is, how should I explain it? So it's derived from a volcanic mineral. This volcanic mineral, it is very, very good at trapping contamination. The mineral has a honeycomb structure, and it's very, very good at trapping negative contamination. So it's a very powerful cleanser. Now, that's one of the highlights that people mostly are attracted to. And I mean, I talk about that a lot. I love it. But it also, Clean Slate specifically, okay? It also is a silica supplement, which you really don't find too much of because of the raw resources used to make it. It essentially is a silica supplement, which is it's an incredible double benefit. Silica, your body needs it. Like that is an incredible secondary or primary benefit, really. But I like it because of its ability to pull out heavy metals. I guess you could say it's a heavy metal detox, but that doesn't really do it justice. Okay, we had a super chat. I want to grab this real quick, so I don't miss it. Layla, I just wanted to say thank you for everything AHA does. Fasting has helped me control my epilepsy, anxiety, and I dropped 80 pounds as of today. It's a lifestyle. Congratulations. That's amazing. Wow. See, I'm going to tell y'all one thing. I literally was just talking about how you get out of this, I get out of this. This is me getting out of this. Like, I love these testimonials. As a matter of fact, the reason why I started doing the interviews was because it was a little selfish. Like, I love hearing the testimonials. When I very first created the Facebook group, I had a vision of, like, people posting all their transformation pictures and all their testimonials because it excites me. When I was learning about fasting and, like the amazing things fasting could do, what made me the most excited was like hearing these crazy stories of what fasting was able to do for people, reversing cancer, healing diabetes, people losing weight. That I love that. It's like watching a good anime. If anybody's in the anime out there, that's how I feel. I love it. So thank you for sharing that. It really does make my day. I really appreciate you all. I appreciate you. Okay. How was your emotional state during this fast? I'm gonna stop there and answer that question. How was my emotional state? My emotional state was, I will say, slightly fractured because I felt it was weird. It was like I was hot and cold. It was like I felt good. You know what I mean? I was excited. Um, I felt in control. I felt like, I, I will say that it changed, right? It changed throughout the fast. Towards the end of the fast, it got shaky. Emotionally, it got shaky. Um, Have any of you all ever heard of Chinese water torture? It's where they take you, they strap you to this board, we'll call it a board, and they fix your body in place. Okay, so you're completely fixed in place, and they have a contraption set up where a cold drop of water hits you right on the forehead every so often, every so many seconds. A cold drop of water hits you on the forehead. And a lot of people are like, bro, that's not torture. That's easy. If I'm gonna get tortured, torture me like that. Yeah, it's cool. It's all good until you've been hit in the same spot with a cold drop of water for the thousandth time. And every time it hits, it feels like a hammer, sledgehammer. Okay, so I use that example to say that when I started getting towards the end of my fast, what was happening was because that discomfort in my stomach just would not subside at all. I felt like it was etching away at my faculties, my mental faculties. I was just like, it was driving me crazy. Now, usually when I fast and I have these types of experiences, and I tell you guys, go to sleep. I was like, go to sleep. If it gets that bad, go to sleep. I tell you that because that's what I do. But I also told you that I was not able to sleep. So imagine being up for, I mean, I was probably up for at least 22 hours a day. Like seriously, I was probably up for at least 22 hours a day. Okay, maybe not consistently, but there were days, consecutive days towards the end where I was just up. I was probably up to 17 to 20 hours a day. And I couldn't get any type of relief. And so yeah, things started to kind of break down after a while. Yeah. Did you oops. Did you feel any effects of emotional fasting in this or prior fasting from past pain or emotional trauma? All right, we have talked about emotional detox and the benefits of fasting and getting rid of. Listen, I got to be honest with you. I was literally just thinking about this like not even 5 hours ago. I am happy. Like I am happy. I'm happy in my life, and I'm not happy in my life because my life is perfect. It's not perfect at all. This summer was the most stressful summer I've ever experienced in my life. Okay, so it's not that my life is perfect at all. Things don't always go my way. Everything's not right. I don't live without burdens, but I'm happy. I'm happy. I have my family. I have my friends. Like I have a good foundation. I'm happy. Um, I'm not dealing with any lingering emotional trauma from relationships or abuse. I've been at this self-development thing for a long time. So I think at this point, I mean, I have the last thing that I know that I had to deal with what had to do with my dad, my relationship with my dad. And it was more of a me thing than I would say it was a him thing. It was me just really accepting him for who he was and where our relationship was. And, you know, uh, like I've talked about this before. Boys, the men out there notice when your father's your hero, a young boy almost automatically pedestalizes his father. It just that's just like I don't know. It's like innate. And society definitely furthers that. And I think that's a very dangerous thing because you look at your dad like he's a superhero and he's not. He's just a dude. Like he's not a superhero. He's just a guy. And so there's expectations set on fathers from sons in that way. And once again, that's a personal problem. And so I had to deal with that. So that was the last thing emotionally that I really had to deal with. So I didn't feel anything on that spectrum during this fast. I didn't really expect to. I mean, obviously, there's the possibility that there's something there that I'm just not aware of, but it's just so like I've gone through this so many times and I've had these. Now, have I had these before? Yes, I've had many of these. The first fast that I did, I had an incredible emotional detox. It was incredible. It was the first time that I ever got relief in that magnitude from something that was bothering me psychologically. It was incredible, you know. And I've described that many times in the past in different videos and things. But no, this time I didn't. Now, with that being said, you typically don't experience this stuff on shorter fasts. I know for some of y'all, you'd be like, that's not a short fast. But uh, what I have found is if that's the type of outcome you're looking for, you really want to be reaching for 10 plus days on a fast. I would say between 10 and 21 days, just to make sure you're fasting long enough so that your body starts to deal with that type of trauma. You can speed the process up a little bit by doing dry fasting, but for the most part, you have to fast longer to get to some of that deeper stuff. And I've talked about this in another video as well, but depending on what it is you're looking to accomplish, you fast for different durations of time. So good question. But no, not this time. Not this time. It was pretty copacetic. Okay. I'm gonna grab this one. Let's see. Any advice for how to mentally get past the first couple of days? No, I mean, you know, what makes getting past the first couple of days easy mentally is your physical preparation. Like, let's be honest. The easier physically your fast is, the easier it is mentally as well. It's the combination of the mental stress and the physical stress that makes fasting really difficult. One of the things we teach in the R72 challenge, or in our challenges in general, is the body likes to dump sugar that first 16 hours of the fast. The body likes to dump sugar, so that can be very stressful on the body. This is why we always teach you guys to go into your fast a certain way. When we're talking about prep, you go into your fast. You want to clear sugar out of your system before you go into the fast, so it makes it a little bit easier for those first 3 days. My first 3 days were absolute cake. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If you want to go back and watch the live that I did, it was cake. It was easy, and so there wasn't much mental strain. At the end of the day, the goal here is to make your process as streamlined as possible. You know what I mean? It's not really for you to have to battle these ogres, especially getting started. We want to make it easy for you. So, we've put together a pretty comprehensive list of tools to help you make those first few days easy. Because guess what? If you can make those first 3 days, yeah, we'll say 3 days easy, you could do the rolling 72. And if you could do the rolling 72, you could be very successful fasting. So we take a problem that's this big, you know what I mean? And we break it up into these small little segments, and you just rinse and repeat the process. And over the course of, let's say, 6 weeks or 3 months or 6 months, whatever your particular issue might be, you can break that problem down and make it much smaller. And the other good thing about approaching it that way is you get, um, as you fasting is kind of like a muscle. This whole process, everything we're doing, the preparation, drinking the water, the fast itself, eating properly, the refeed, is you're working a muscle. And the more you work it, the less it becomes this thing that you're doing, and the more it becomes like ingrained. It becomes habitual. And then once it becomes habitual, it's not a thing that you're doing, it's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like, imagine when you was a child, if you guys can think back to when you were children, before you knew how to tie your shoe. Now, you might be excited to learn how to tie your shoe and everything, but you got to think, like, the first time you tied your shoe, it was like, bruh, like, you might be sitting there for 3-5 minutes trying to tie your shoe. And it was a thing. Every time you tied your shoe, it was a thing. And now you tie your shoe, you don't even remember tying your shoe. It's just habitual. So that's really the goal. It's training yourself to have these repeated these repeated actions that you do in your sleep. You do it, and this technique, it's interesting because this technique is used by many different industries, right? This is not just like a fasting thing. Many industries use this type of repetitive action in order to get people to a place where they just have good habits, and then those habits will eventually get them to the outcomes they desire, little, incrementally. One of the biggest problems we have is trying to get to our outcomes too quickly. If you want to own a Corvette, right? People are talking about, like, Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff. Forget all that. If you want to own like a brand new Corvette, you think you're ready for a Corvette, right? But you don't have the money. You don't have the money to buy the Corvette. Let's just say it's one of the new ones. It's $80,000. You know what I'm saying? Moderately decked out, without all the inflated prices and everything. It's crazy trying to get them Corvettes right now. But so let's just say you win one. Let's just say you win one, right? Do you know how much it costs to repair a tire on those Corvettes? Do you know how much the brakes cost? Like, you might think you're ready. I could drive the Corvette. I could, like, if I could just get my hands on this Corvette, I can, like, I'm ready. But you have no idea what it costs to maintain this thing. You know what I mean? Like, it costs way more to maintain it than what you might think. So the problem is, we want these outcomes, but we don't want to do the work to get to the outcome. If you were to just be given the outcome, you'd lose it. You'd lose it like that because you're not ready. So part of the struggle and part of the journey to get to the outcome is learning how to maintain the results once you get it. So it's important to go through that. And that's not something anybody can necessarily give you on a silver platter. The only way we learn is through experience, honestly. Like, I mean, everybody has different ways of learning, but I think people learn through experience. It takes a very special kind of person to be able to learn without having to experience something. I think it's more rare than what we give it credit for. So I personally love the journey of discovery. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Fall in love with the journey of discovery. Fall in love with the process. Make sure that you are aware and intentional in your wellness journey. Take your power back. Stop giving it to everybody else. Stop listening to unreliable sources. The media outlets, the government, they've been lying to us since I've been alive. So I know they've been lying to y'all since you've been alive. They don't have good information. As a matter of fact, my rule of thumb is whatever the mainstream narrative is, my automatic position is opposed to it. It's automatic until it's guilty, until proven innocent. I do not give them the benefit of the doubt. They have been known to lie and manipulate us on it, if not everything, most things. And at some point, we have to wake up and be like, bro, they're lying. They're manipulating us. You know what I mean? They're getting rich off of us. They're taking advantage of us. They're abusing us. So I automatically disagree with them. So when I say fasting's good and they tell me, and the doctors are saying, oh, no, it's bad for you, I say, okay, I'm on the right track. Hasn't failed me yet. That's all I'm saying. All right, looks like, let's see, did I get another super chat here? Oh, AJ says, thank you. Thank you, AJ. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's also an issue of honor, honoring yourself first. Consistency is key. It is an issue of honor. Honor is important. The first person you are accountable to is yourself. It's actually interesting how we skip over ourselves. We've allowed society, maybe even certain beliefs, whether they're religious or just traditionalism, I don't know, whatever, to make you think that you are less important than somebody else. There's nobody more important than you. Why is that a problem? Why is that such a taboo thought? You are the most important person in this world. You know what I mean? Whoever you are, You are the most important person in this world. What you have for this world, for this reality, for the people around you is only special to you. Like only you could do it. There's nobody else that could do what you do. Nobody thinks like you. No one has your perspective. You are invaluable. Somehow we've been taught that, we're disposable and there's somebody that's more important. I don't care if it's your child. I don't care if it's your husband, your wife, your mom, your dad, your preacher. I don't care who it is. You are the most important person in your life. And you guys have to remember that. And once you really understand that, then you realize, well, why? Why is it that I'm the most important person in this world and yet I'm more accountable to them than I am to myself? That's a problem. That's a very, very big problem that we have, you know? So learn to be accountable to yourself and it will propel you far in life because we tell ourselves all kinds of things. We're okay with lying to ourselves. Why is that? Why would we lie to ourselves? You know, I refuse. I refuse. And I'm held accountable when I lie to myself because um I value it. I value my word. So when I lie to myself, there is a price to pay for it. And I've experienced it on many different occasions. And so I actively make sure that I commit to things I'm willing to follow through on. So you become more intentional about the commitments you make. When you say you're going to do it, you do it. If it's something you want to do and you're not prepared to do it, you don't say it just because you want to do it. You prepare yourself so that you can do it, so that you can become a person of your word, because there is a price to pay, y'all. All right. I hope you enjoyed the live. Listen, we have a ton of content coming. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. All right. We got a doubleheader coming tomorrow. We've got probably 2 more lives coming this week. We're going to hook y'all up for the holiday season. R72 challenge. Here's the link. Make sure that you grab it. Link is in the chat. I'll also do my best to like double back and put it in the actual video and stuff. It should be in the description as well. As always, the application of knowledge is power. I'll see y'all tomorrow.